How do you guys see regulators, standards bodies, and I guess large buyers influencing the pace of PQC adoption over the next 3 to 5 years, and even further to that, because we're looking, I guess, in the 2030s, next 3 to 10 years, maybe.
IETF just came out with an update to the standard for PKI for digital certificates that formally sort out and clear the path for those standard post-quantum algorithms. Everyone, there's a working way to do it, but now it's been memorialized as the adopted standard, which is great for interoperability, right? So that you don't have to get into, and again, good news generally speaking, most of the major, name any major vendor, they've been pretty on board and collaborative with a lot of this stuff because they know that nobody lives in a homogeneous all one vendor stack, and interoperability is the name of the game. And so there are already ones that for quantum upgrades to like IPsec, VPNs, which are a big target for harvest now, decrypt later. That's been in place for a while so that any two firewall vendors, any two router vendors can make secure connections seamlessly. And there's been a lot of work to do that. So the great news is the work of like the IETF, and with NIST and Canada and other countries leading the way on the algorithms themselves. That's been a real positive. But importantly, another aspect, by law in the US, for example, which is, the US government is the largest purchaser of stuff, IT and other in the US, single largest entity, and therefore one of the biggest in the world. Starting in 2027, the US government cannot procure anything that does not have PQC. Now, obviously, pencils don't have, encryption, so okay. But anything that has encryption has to have PQC and starting 2027. It's a law, right? So if you are a supplier to the US government, guess what? You've got to upgrade to that. But that also, and if you're not, that's a large tail that will wag the dog because everybody who does sell, so for example, we got a call from, I'll leave the brand name out of it, but they make coffee makers that take pods. And they called us and asked us about, our PQC toolkit. And we're like, why is a coffee company calling us about, post-quantum cryptography? Because Uncle Sam drinks a lot of coffee. And they are in every commissary, in every government building, in every military base. And they have some of them that have remote diagnostics. And so if they want to keep selling coffee to Uncle Sam, they have to upgrade their coffee makers to PQC. So the trickle down effect of, and EU passed the EU Quantum Readiness Act, slightly less timeline, but still this decade. Um, so those massive wallets, drive commerce and drive vendor behavior, which then whips around and becomes so that all the major vendors that anyone else would be using are going to go along for the ride. So that's a case where there is a regulatory slash legal framework for procurement that drives purchasing behavior that drives mass adoption. So kind of a virtuous cycle. So again, surprisingly, the government somehow maybe inadvertently is helping the rest of us.